So this little process on how to make a mold for a concrete lamp base. And so the easiest material to make it out of is something that's very resistant to water. It's the easiest to explain it. There's a lot of water in concrete. If you can make it be resistant to the water in the concrete, it isn't going to stick. It's going to release without using a lot of release agents of any kind. Like most release agents are silicones or whatever. So my material choice is melamine, because melamine makes a nice, smooth, finished surface. So when your concrete rests up against it, it leaves it nice and smooth and gives you a nice flat texture. Okay, and then the first thing I do is design the mold around the base. This is going to be a very simple rectangular type of base. And how I'm going to add some variety and some interest into it is I'm going to develop inserts that look like this out of foam. And those inserts will slide in here. And as I put the concrete in, it'll create the shape. When I pull it apart, that shape will be embedded in the concrete. So I'm going to show you two different processes for you. I'm going to show you the mold first, then I'm going to show you how to cut the foam. But the other thing you have to remember, when you're building the lamp, you've got to have some place for the core or the wire and the socket to come up to. So you have to build that section too and add it into your mold. So the easiest thing to do is assemble your mold like that. I'm just going to put a couple screws in. I have 7 screws holding this together. The tighter you can pull it together, the less likely it's going to leak on you when you pour the concrete. Got to keep those inside joints very, 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 very tight. Okay. So now I have the mold, it's all screwed together. It's this shape, right? So what I've done is develop a core out of foam also. And that core sits in the center, and there's 2 parts of the core. This is where your tube and your column comes up and the socket fits at top. And this is where the light source, either the transformer or the light itself, sits into. That makes a hollow spot on the bottom of it, so it gives you room to put your transformer or whatever you need for your light in the bottom. And once I put it in here, you notice it doesn't say put, and it will float also. So what I will do there is that I will cut a couple of pieces of foam like this and bridge and take just a simple nail or a screw and screw it there so that this won't move. It stays right where I want it, and then I can pack the concrete around it. You don't have to use something this big. This is just the core material I had extra. You can use 2 little sticks that hold it like that. It gives plenty of room to get the concrete in. Because you're going to have to pour the concrete in, and then you're going to have to ram it, or you're going to have to vibrate it somehow to get the concrete to compress and eliminate all the air and the voids that in the piece. So, and before you do that, then you go ahead and cut your shapes. Let me move this out of the way. Cut your shapes out of foam, and then they slide right inside the mold like that. Stay. And you can tape them or glue them or nail them or screw them so they don't move. Now when you pour the concrete, you just pull it apart. You're going to end up with the lamp base with that wedge shape out of it and that ripple shape out of it. Once you do it. What's nice about making all that out of foam, it separates from the foam very easily. It gives it a little bit of different texture. And if it does stick to the foam, you can take acetone and it will just burn it right out of the concrete and you'll never know it was there. Very easy to do. So that's how I usually make my molds for concrete. So if you look at it, that's the finished shape coming out of that mold. You got the ripple here, you got the wedge here. Very easy, very simple. The hard part about doing concrete is it's very messy, and you need to use a lot of water, and you need water to clean up, you need water to mix this concrete in, and then if you have any surplus, you can't just pour it down the drain. We don't do concrete in the shop. We'll help you make the mold here, but we can't do the concrete here because there's no way for us to get rid of the waste stuff. This is the second half of the concrete little form process. I'm going to show you how to cut a piece of styrofoam in a ripple on this bandsaw. First thing you need to know is you get the thickness of the piece that you want to insert, adjust your guard so it's barely above your thing, and size it to the width that you need it. So I'm going to turn this on. Now I have it sized. So the next thing I'm going to do, get away from my bandsaw so I don't get cut. Let that stop. Then I'm just going to basically lay out that ripple into edge, because to get the shape, we need to cut it on the edge, not on the width. So now I got the ripple cut into the piece, laid out in the piece. I'm going to move in front of you for a second here. I'm going to grab two things. Okay, when you cut anything on an edge in the bandsaw, you got to put it on something that can hold it, because you can't hand hold it. You'll just get too close to the blade and you don't want to be there. So what we're going to do is actually tape it to a wooden sled. As I get this double-sided tape off. Okay. And then I'm going to stand it up so I can see where I'm going with my ripple. I'm going to put some tape on my piece here. Take the backer off. Now I'm going to lay it flat on the metal table so I can actually keep it 90 degrees to my blade. Give it a couple quick smacks. Make sure it's stuck really well. I don't need the fence anymore. Now I got to raise my guard back up so I can actually cut the edge. So that means this guard's got to go up about right there, a little higher. Get that set. Now all you have to do is follow your line and cut the ripple. Make sure this is your back, this is your front. I'm going to stop right there. If you notice the noise changed in the saw when I was making a tight corner, I was actually pushing the bandsaw too far. But you can get away with that in foam because it's not a hard material. If you tried to do that in wood, you'd probably break the blade. So only this kind of process can be done with the foam. And if you notice, once you get it, you may have some little imperfections, just a little bit of sandpaper smooths it right out, and it's ready for your mold. Then you just stick it inside your mold, and you're ready to go. Remember to put down this guard when you're done, and that's it.